Okay, I got those pieces of metal welded on. I forgot to take video of them after welded on, but I mean, it's just flat bar welded on top of a rail. So you just do a couple tacks. You don't have to 100% weld it all the way through. If you want to learn how to do that, you can Google it. Anyways, I got the first piece of plywood cut down. I had to cut an inch off the side because this trailer's not exactly 4x8. It's it's 8 by 3 and 11 inches. So ripped a piece off the side, and then I measured and cut holes for the rail to come in. And of course I screwed up my one measurement, and there's an oopsie there, but that's fine. So what I'm gonna do is, because I have decided this is where this is going, I'm gonna have to weld it here, lift this piece of plywood off, weld that there, but before I start fastening it down. And then I'm gonna start working on that side, the front, the roof, and the roof. I'm gonna cut, I think, another one of these cross members to go here, just so that way I can have enough strength for my rooftop tent that's gonna go on here. Yeah. Also, I noticed that I screwed up a little tiny bit, that this and this way is not quite square. Not sure why it did that, but I can hide that easy enough. So yeah, that's this area is going to be most important for square, because this is a door handle, hinges up and down. So I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm pretty sure I can hide it, but we're going to find out when we get to that, because I've noticed with building projects, if you don't square them up at the beginning, you're just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting as you keep building and building and building. That square gets a little worse, a little worse, a little worse. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. It feels good to have a deck on it though. Now I can actually sit in it and get a feel of where it's going to be. Okay, I took the bottom wood off so I could weld on this 100%. Right there. There, you know, nothing too fancy. I'm not actually a certified welder, so kind of just teaching myself. But yeah, that's how I got those plates welded on. Sorry, my hand's shaking. That's how I got those plates welded on there. Got one here, one there, and one right there. I had to take the wire loom off because for some reason went over top there. The previous owner had a tilt flat deck trailer on top of this, so I got another frame. So for some reason he put the wiring on top rather than underneath, so I'm rerunning it underneath here. Well, I got the plywood off, a little easier. Yeah, that'll work on that. I decided to do some 1.5 by 1.5 studs, just all the way around the corners. That way I have something to secure it to, and it'll give it some more strength and rigidity. Plus on the inside I have something to secure the interior paneling to. Okay, I got the piece of plywood secured down. I originally was using number 8 self-tappers by 1 inch, but they are not strong enough to be going through, I think, 3/16 angle iron, or channel iron. Yeah, I should have known that. So I switched to tech screws, and they stick up a bit, but that's okay, because I'm going to start, I started testing building studs. I got the main frame here for support for just the main rigidity, and then this is where I can use to attach both the plywood on the inside and the outside for, and add extra strength. This is the main strength, this frame here, and then this is the extra. We'll see how it goes. Might be stupid what I'm doing, it might be smart. I don't know. I'm no expert at this. I'm kind of just going as I go here. So yeah, and probably when I get back from work, I'm going to start ripping these in half and then continuing on. Because what I got going on is if you rip a 2x4 in half, you get, what is it, 1 3/4 inches. And then because of my 3/16, if I flip it on edge, they are still flush here. because it sits here, right? So that kind of works out nice. That way I can have it flush here. I can always just put a little bit of a shim here when I'm securing on this edge. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes here. I'll see you when I get an update. Okay, so I've continued on with building studs here. I've got this framed out for a window. I don't have the exact size yet because I'm still trying to find a window to buy. So I've got a rough area. I can always squeeze this down and I have the lowest my window I want, but I don't know the height of it and the width, so I haven't built full studs around it yet. But I got the bottom plate for it and everything. I've started with the door here. It's going to be 2 foot by whatever this is. It's late, can't really think, but I haven't decided if I'm going to do round or square corners. And then because this is recessed a bit, when I put the plywood on, around when I screw it on to all these different areas down here, and this is flush, it's just the way that it is. It's gonna pull everything tight, and then I can shim a door in if I want. So yeah, I'm working on the one side first, get it all figured out, put a piece of plywood up, and then I can go on to the next side. Yeah, this thing's gonna be strong. Shouldn't have to worry about it breaking on me. So yeah, it's looking pretty sweet so far. I've only got a couple studs up, but it's actually starting to look like something now. I got the first side, all the studs in place here. I put up a piece of plywood just to mock up, see how I was going to cut it. I've traced, because it's, considering I'm not a fabricator, it's got it mostly square. It's flush on the bottom. It's just a little bit out of square overall. Here's not too bad, but like up here, as you can see, my finger gets deeper and deeper and deeper as we go along. Easier to see over here. So for, you know, being an electrician and not a certified fabricator, it's pretty good. So I've traced it out here. We're going to cut the plywood. I'm not going to mount it yet because I want to get all the studs done first. I just wanted to see what it would look like with the plywood up on the inside. So I'm going to work on the other 2 sides here and maybe start working on the roof and the back. I've decided what I'm going to do for the mattress. I'm going to go for one of the mail to your door mattress memory foam ones. I'm going to put a twin XL in here. So that means it'll be long enough for my lanky frame. Barely. I think it's 6'5" and I'm 6'4". So, and it'll be just a little bit narrower than here, so it'll fit perfectly. And then I'm going to, well, I'm going to get all this, the mattress is going to be the last thing to go in here, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. It's coming along nicely. So I got all the studs up, except for the front ones. Those are the last ones going in just because the way I got to get the interior plywood in, and that's the only way I can get them in. And then I've put on the top piece of plywood and the 2 sides, and I've started wiring. That's the update so far. I cut these pieces of plywood down because they went here, but when you butt up 2 pieces of plywood, you want to have your joint on a stud, that way it doesn't move and that way you can seal it properly. And it's looking pretty good. I framed in for a window there. I had the whole distance, but then I realized that I have cabinets I'm going to put up here. So the window, there's a window here and there's a window on the inside. I might move that one this way to here. Cut these studs a little bit and put the window in there. That way I can have a window when I'm looking out. It's coming along nicely. I've got pot lights that I'm just getting wiring for. I've got a door latch. The door I'm making. Got the door all put together here-ish. I was just put a piece of 3/4 inch plywood on the inside just so I can get a thickness. So I'm going to take 3/4 inch birch, put it on the inside of the door. I'm going to have a piece of steel go the whole way around for a frame, a seal. So that way it seals here. And then I'm going to take a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, cut a ring, go 1 inch wide all the way around. So that way when the inside plywood butts up against, I have a place to seal right around here. So that way it seals in 2 places. It's going to look nice when it's all finished here. It's coming along quite well. So that's the basic skeleton of the trailer up. Once I get my windows in, I can start working on the interior and finishing up the outside here. I'm going to finish the kitchen last, I think, because I'm not really sure how all I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to have a hatch down here somewhere so that way I can access the bottom here. I was going to put the battery down back here, but I think I'm just going to put a basic breaker panel for a 12 volt and then have 2 trunk wires to the front from the battery. So I can take some weight off and put it in the front. Same with the water tank. I'm going to put the water tank in the front. It's coming along nicely. So that's the skeleton / walls of my teardrop trailer coming along. It's actually starting to look like something. Every weekend I get a little bit of time to work on it. So it's the first time I've done something major project like this. So it's a learning curve for me. I got one piece of the finished plywood inside cut. I'm using 3/8 pine plywood. It's like a 16th or a 64th layer of veneer on top of what looks to be some sort of pine, I guess. The core is, I don't know, some sort of redwood, but whatever. It's not for structure, it's for looks, so I don't really care what the inside looks like. I got the trim put in on the window, sort of. When I bought the windows from a RV salvage, they didn't have the trim, so they sent me one big one that you have to cut into 4 pieces. So I'm going to have to find a way to hide these little seams. But I'm trying to figure out how to hide the inside there, because I guess these windows are meant for a travel trailer and not an 1.5 inch thick wall. So what I figured is 1 inch bar, 1/8 of an inch thick, that's aluminum, and just bend it in all 4 corners and then seal it up in the middle. I've insulated between the studs on this side all completely. Done the same here. What I've done is just cut insulation in half, like 2x4 insulation. And now I'm going to finish cutting this wall. I just cut the main shape, put it up, and then I trace the inside. Double check my measurements and then cut out the holes for the window. Way easier than trying to like measure where exactly my hole needs to go. And then I'm going to work on the ceiling. I've ordered a roof vent, so I'll put that up. Put a couple more studs in there, I guess. And then insulate it. And then I'll be able to work on that wall and then this wall. Because I'm leaving this wall open so I can put all my boards inside and then fold them up, because there's no way they're fitting through this door. Okay, I got most of the interior walls complete. I got my hole cut for the roof vent, both sides. I haven't put insulation in the roof yet because I'm going to take this off, put insulation in, then put it back on, because it's way easier to put insulation in when you're not fighting with gravity. And then the interior is pretty much complete. I gotta cut some holes for the lights. Gotta figure out how to hide that. This paper veneer come off a little bit. I got both windows in. Screwed up in my hole there.
So I gotta figure out a way to hide that with my trim. Hopefully I can. And then I had to take half the trim ring off here so I could get the ceiling in, but that's gonna go back up. Right now I'm just gluing in. I screwed it in, but then I also been putting glue everywhere. And then I'm gonna have to put some sort of trim to hide these holes, hide my crimes. Because I am learning. I'm not exactly a carpenter, but it's coming along nicely. So just gotta build some studs here and the interior wall, but gotta wait till this is finished setting. But that concludes, I guess, the main walls of this part video. It's been a long one, but it's coming along nicely. Been actually making some good progress on it. Still haven't even touched the back here. It's yeah. And I screwed up on the door. I was supposed to have this longer, but I didn't. So now I've kind of experimenting with some aluminum. Come along here. I gotta countersink these screws so they can sit in flush. What I'll probably end up doing is just doing the same on this side, butting it up against, and then just having the door seal here, and then just along this aluminum. But it's come along nicely. Thanks for watching so far, and see you in the next video.